Hello students, we are reading third chapter of Snapshots, that is Ranga's marriage. In the first part we have read that Ranga has returned to his village from Bangalore, and it was a great event because he was the first one to have been sent out of Hosahalli, that was his village name, for studies, and people milled around his house to have a look to find out how different he looked after his 6 months stay in the city. So everyone was there. Everyone is, we can say, all the people were so excited and they want to have a glance, they want to have a glimpse of Ranga, and everyone just gathered around his house, or we can say in front of his house. Even the narrator was also present there. So now what happens next? We will start from page 18, and here we are. Seeing so many people there, Ranga came out with a smile on his face. So all the people were waiting outside Ranga's house because the place would look like a black hole of Calcutta. So the narrator says that had we all gone inside, the place would have turned into what people call the black hole of Calcutta. Hole of Calcutta is a place, or we can say a small prison cell, where so many Europeans, they were just imprisoned in we can say in 17th century. And at that time when they were prisoned, only a few of them just survived we can say the next morning. So come to it. So the narrator is saying that the place would look like the black hole of Calcutta if they all went inside. That will be a suffocated place. That would be a small place. By saying this, the narrator means that there were so many people that the house would not be able to accommodate them all. That's why they all were waiting outside Ranga's house. They all wanted to have a look of just we can say of Ranga. Everyone just wanted to see Ranga. So Ranga, everyone, thank God it did not. That means it did not happen that all went inside. Then everyone was surprised to see that Ranga was the same as he had been 6 months ago when he had first left our village. So everyone was satisfied, and Ranga came outside with a smile on his face. And then everyone was so amazed to see that Ranga had not changed a bit after he left 6 months ago. An old lady who was near him ran her hand over his chest, looked into his eyes, and said, "The Janavara is still there." Janavara means that is a sacred thread worn by the Brahmins over the chest. That just signifies their, we can say, faith in religion, and that is a sacred thread. So an old lady even went to the extent of running her hands through his chest, only to check for a sacred thread. And when she just found it, and she just looked into his eyes and said, "The Janavara is still there. He hasn't lost his caste." That means he has not forgotten his tradition, his rituals, and his, we can say, his religion or his customs. She went away soon after that. Then Ranga laughed. So she went away after confirming that she had not forgotten about his caste, and then Ranga laughed. Once they realized that Ranga still had the same hands, legs, eyes, and nose, the crowd melted away like a lump of sugar in a child's mouth. So once the villagers realized that Ranga did not change even after moving to the city, they disappeared as fast as a lump of sugar does in a child's mouth. That means they just moved from that place smoothly, just like melting away a lump of sugar in a child's mouth. So they all disappeared from that place after ensuring this thing that Ranga did not change even after staying in the city. I continued to stand there, but the narrator remained there. After everyone had gone, I asked, "How are you, Rangappa? Is everything well with you?" So, after the narrator just waited till the crowd cleared and then asked him about his well being. He asked, "How are you, and is everything well with you?" Then um, it was only then that Ranga noticed it. So, until then, when everyone was there, the crowd was there, Ranga was not able to notice the narrator. But when the crowd cleared, and then Ranga was able to notice the narrator, and then he came near me and did a namaskara respectfully. So after noticing him, he didn't ignore him. He just came near him and did a namaskara. That means he replied with full respect in a traditional way by folding his hands, or we can say by touching the feet, saying, "I am all right with your blessings." So Ranga had not noticed the narrator in the crowd before that moment, but when he noticed him, he replied with full respect in a traditional way. I must draw your attention to this aspect of Ranga's character. So here the narrator just want to say the readers that he wants to draw the attention of the readers to this aspect of Ranga's character. What is that? That Ranga was very well behaved and well aware as to we can say who could benefit him, and he was very well aware of that thing, that how to behave with others. He knew when it would be to his advantage to talk to someone and rightly assessed people's worth. So, what he wants to say, he greeted the narrator in a rightful manner. So, he was one of those who could analyze someone's worth in a right manner. So he knows that how to behave to others in a polite manner, in a respectful manner, and he was one of those who could analyze someone's values or someone value in a right manner. So we can say he was so thoughtful or so considerate. Then, as for his namaskara, to me, he did not do it like any present day boy, with his head up towards the sun, standing stiff like a pole without joints, jerking his body, that means twisting his body as if it was either a wand or a walking stick. So, but Ranga, on noticing the narrator, came near and respectfully greeted him with the namaskar. So, the narrator was able to think that that greeting was like it used to be earlier, because Ranga, he just felt that Ranga was not like the stiff present day boys who stood like a vent while greeting. So he was very impressed how the young man Ranga even bent low to touch his feet and get his blessings. He was very much surprised with the way how he just touched his feet and how he did namaskara to him. So in this way he was very surprised. He was not he was just thinking that that greeting was like it used to be earlier in a traditional way. Nor did he merely fold his hands, he bent low to touch my feet. So he not only folded his hands, he also bent low to touch his feet. May you get married soon, I said, blessing him. So the narrator also just gave him blessings, and that may he get married soon. After exchanging a few pleasantries, I left. Pleasantries means good words, that how are you, what's going on, and so like these things. So after exchanging, that means after saying some good words, or after just greeting to each other, after conversing for some time, the narrator left from that place. Then that afternoon, when I was resting, Ranga came to my house with a couple of oranges in his hand. So that afternoon, Ranga visited the narrator with a few oranges, which the narrator just thought a generous, considerate fellow. So the narrator thought that it was quite he was quite generous and a thoughtful fellow. That means considerate means who just thinks about others. It would be a fine thing to have him marry, settle down, and be of service to society, I thought. So, thinking of how nice Ranga is, because he was very impressed by the way how he was behaving. The narrator was very impressed. So, thinking of how nice Ranga is, the narrator thought that it would be a good idea to have him married to a girl just as nice as him. Right? Then, for a while, we talked about this and that. That means they talked about so many things, various things. They chatted for a while, and then I came to the point. That means then the narrator came to the point. What was that? Rangappa, when do you plan to get married? So what he asked, the narrator asked Ranga about his views on getting married. Then Ranga, what he said? I'm not going to get married now, he said. But Ranga replied that, expresses that he doesn't want to get married now because he wants to find out a right girl. Why not? I need to find the right girl. I know an officer who got married only 6 months ago. He's about 30 and his wife is 25, I am told. So then he just gave a reference of an officer that he knew an officer who got married only 6 months ago and he's only 30 and his wife is 25. So what it means? That means he just gave the example of an officer who got married at the age of 30 to a woman aged 25. So that means these are both adults. They would understand each other's actions and behaviors in a proper manner. So that means he just want to say that the person for marriage, both the person, male or female, should be mature enough to understand the things, to understand each other. They will be able to talk lovingly to each other. So that was his opinion about marriage. Let's say I married a young girl. She may take my words spoken in love as words spoken in anger. Then he just comes to himself and then he says that if I married a very young girl, then she might take my words spoken in love as the words spoken in anger. That means she would not be able to understand the things in a proper manner. She would not be able to understand that these words are spoken in love or in anger. So that's why he is saying that he just wants to marry a mature girl, not a very young girl. Because at that time, that was the custom or of, we can say, child marriage. That's why he is just giving his views on marriage. Then he says, recently a troupe is a group of dancers or actors or other entertainers who tour to different venues. Right? So here he just says that recently a troupe in Bangalore staged the play Shakuntala. there is no question of Dushyanta falling in love with Shakuntala if she were young. So then he just gave example of that means suppose the narrator finds a girl who is very young, she could misunderstand his words or actions because she is not mature enough. Then he just mentions the just example, or we can say the love story of Shakuntala and Dushyanta from Mahabharata, that if he would not have fallen in love with Shakuntala if she were too young. So in that case कालिदासा जो प्ले है दैट इज द शकुंतला also would have not existed, that would not we can say would have not been successful, right? So here he just says that there is no question of Dushyanta falling in love with Shakuntala if she were young, like the present day brides is there. What would happen to Kalidasa's play? If one gets married, it should be to a girl who is mature. That means he just gives stress on this point that the girl whom he wants to marry, that girl should be mature enough to understand his feelings and his actions. Otherwise, one should remain a bachelor. So otherwise, that's why he just decides on staying a bachelor till he finds the right girl. That is why I am not marrying now. Is there any other reason? The narrator further asks that if there is any other reason. A man should marry a girl he admires. What we have now are arranged marriages. How can one admire a girl with milk stains on one side of her face and wetness on the other, or so young that she doesn't even know how to bite her fingers? Here we can say Ranga wanted to find the right girl for himself, someone who would be mature enough to understand him. Then he held the opinion that a man should marry a girl he admires, and that is very much necessary for a harmonious compatibility in one's married life, right? So it should be a girl who is mature. So and then he says that he or we can say he was just quite opposite, he was opposed, he just wanted to oppose the arranged marriages. So we can say he was in the favor of love marriages also. That means he wants to marry a girl whom he admires. Then the narrator just gave the remark, one a neem fruit and the other a bitter gourd. So exactly, Ranga said laughingly. So in this way they were just conversing about their opinions or their views on the matter, that is marriage. Then I was distressed that the boy who I thought would make a good husband had decided to remain a bachelor. After chatting for a little longer, Ranga left. So the narrator was very sad that the boy who he thought that he would be a good husband had decided to remain a bachelor. After talking with him for some time, Ranga left. I made up my mind right then that I would get him married, but the narrator had decided in his mind that he would get Ranga married. Now, Ramarav's niece, a pretty girl of 11, had come to stay with him. She was from a big town, so she knew how to play the veena and the harmonium. These are the musical instruments. So here we can see the narrator introduces us to a new character in the story. That is a pretty girl of 11 and who is Rama Rao's niece and who had come to stay with him, and she was from a big town. That new character is Rama Rao's niece. So she knew how to play the veena and the harmonium. These are the musical instruments. She also had a sweet voice. Both her parents had died and her uncle had brought her home. So we have come to know about this new character in the story, who is 11 years old and is Rama Rao's niece. And after losing just both her parents, her uncle brought her from the big town to his home with him. Now she had a great voice and could play harmonium and veena. We have come to know about this new character. Ranga was just the boy for her and she the most suitable bride for him. So the narrator was very much sure that Ranga would make a good husband and had just made up his mind to get him married. He just wanted that pretty girl of 11 and Ranga would make a good match, right? And that's why he manipulated the things. How? That we come to know. Since I was a frequent visitor to Rama Rao's place, the girl was quite free with me. Now, just come to know that we don't know the name of that girl till now, right? So, here I completely forgot to mention her name. So, the narrator now just telling us the name, that is Ratna. It was. So, the name of that girl who is 11-year-old, that is Rama Rao's niece, and the name is Ratna. So here the narrator thought that Ranga and Ratna would make a great pair, a great match, you can say, right? So here Ratna was quite familiar with the narrator as he visited Rama's place frequently. So the narrator just thought of a plan to introduce Ratna to Ranga, how he manipulated the things, right? So the very next morning I went to their house and told Rama Rao's wife, I shall send some buttermilk for you. Ask Ratna to fetch it. So he has just brought some buttermilk for Rama Rao's. So he asked his wife to send Ratna to fetch that buttermilk. Ratna came. It was Friday, so she was wearing a grand sari, and that means she was well dressed. I told her to sit in my room and requested her to sing a song, right? So how he planned to introduce Ratna to Ranga. So he asked Rama Rao's wives to send Ratna to his place, as he wanted to send you can say some buttermilk for them. She came just all dressed up. Then the narrator insisted upon her to sing a song. And at the same time, meanwhile, he sent someone to call Ranga also, right? So here, I sent for Ranga. While she was singing the song Krishnamurti in front of my eyes, Ranga reached the door. He stopped at the threshold. Threshold is the entrance. He did not want the singing to stop but was curious to see the singer. So just as she was singing, Ranga arrived at the door. Her melancholic voice touched his ears, and thus he didn't want to interrupt the singing, so he stood at the door. But he was very curious to see the singer, and very cautiously he tried to have a look, right? To look who is singing. He didn't want the singing to stop but was very curious to see the singer. Carefully he peeped in, right? Then the light coming into the room was blocked. Ratna looked up and seeing a stranger there, abruptly stopped. So when he tried to have a look which disturbed the lighting in the room, and on seeing a stranger, that means we can say there was some shadow of his body, and that's why Ratna looked up. She was interrupted and Ratna immediately stopped her singing. Now come to the next. Suppose you buy the best quality mango. You eat it slowly, savoring its peel before biting into the juicy flesh. You don't want to waste any part of it. Before you take another bite, the fruit slips out of your hand and falls to the ground. how do you feel? Ranga's face showed the same disappointment when the singing stopped. So when Ratna saw Ranga, she stopped singing. Then the narrator compares this disappointment of Ranga to slipping out of the hands of a best quality mango. So Ranga's expression was like that of a person eating the mango slowly, even savoring the peel before the juicy flesh. That means he just didn't want to waste any part of it, but then dropping it. That means Ranga wanted to hear the song also and see the singer as well. But while trying to peep in, the girl saw him and stopped singing abruptly, and that resulted in his disappointment. You sent for me, he asked as he came in and sat on a chair. So the narrator just compares this Ranga's situation to the disappointment of dropping a best quality mango. Now that means all the things they just became awkward, right? So Ranga asked the narrator, "You sent." That means why he called for him. That means then he asked as he came in and sat on a chair. Ratna stood at a distance, her head lowered. That means she just bent down her head, downwards her head. Ranga repeatedly glanced at her. Once our eyes met, and he looked very embarrassed. No one spoke for a long while. So all the things went a bit awkward. Ratna was very shy natured and thus looked downward, whereas Ranga stealthily glanced at her. So there was an awkward silence in the room. And then Ranga again asked that he just said this thing that it was my coming in that stopped the singing. Let me leave. Then Ranga said that he feels it was his coming that stopped the singing, so he must leave from that place. Words, mere words. The fellow said he would leave, but he did not make a move. So the narrator just, we can say, makes fun of him because he had no intention of going, right? He was just saying that he must leave, but he was not he didn't make a move to move from that place. So these were only the words. How can one expect words to match action in these days of Kali Yuga? So he jokes about it and says that one cannot expect actions and words to match in the Kali Yuga, right? So the narrator makes fun of Ranga because he had no intention of going. He doesn't want to move from that place, although he was saying that he must leave that place. Then Ratna ran inside, overcome by shyness. So she just moved inside, and we can say, after a while, Ranga asked, "Who is that girl, Swami? Who is that inside?" "The lion." So, after a few moments, after a few minutes of awkward silence, Ranga finally asked the narrator about the girl. That who is that girl, Swami? Right? Now the narrator compares the situation with the infamous story of a he-goat and the lion, where he is the he-goat and Ranga the lion. So what is the story? The he-goat. Who is that inside? The lion wanted to know. That means he makes fun of him. The he-goat, who had taken shelter in the temple, replied, "Does it matter who I am? I am a poor animal who has already eaten 9 lions. I have vowed to eat one more. Tell me, are you male or female?" That means we can say that is a totally funny situation that he-goat wants to make frightened the lion, and by telling that he has already eaten 9 lions and now he wanted to eat one more. So he's just asking the lion that are you male or female, and in this way the lion just became afraid and he fled the place in fear, it seems, right? So like the he god, I said, what does it matter to either of us who she is? So that means the narrator just replies very cleverly and decides that wants to see Ranga's interest in knowing about Ratna. That's why he says that who she is not of that much importance. Why? I am already married and you aren't the marrying kind. Because he is already married, that means the narrator is already married, and Ranga doesn't want to marry this time. So he isn't the marrying kind. So that's why there is no use of asking that who is inside, who is that girl, right? So that is the story spoken by the narrator. In this way, again and again, he makes fun of Ranga. That means he just tried to make the things uh, clear, or he wants to arouse the interest of Ranga in that girl, and that's why he manipulated the things, he manipulated the situation. So up to here we will stop here, and then we will continue the chapter in the next video. Thank you. Have a nice day.